Hey everybody, welcome to the show. This is Dillon James right here on JDF Sports on All Hallows Eve this evening. We are one day away from Halloween here, and thanks so much for joining us to talk some football, talk Week 8, going into Week 9. We're halfway through the season, almost, and we also have the trade deadline happening next Tuesday. This coming up Tuesday, I guess you could say. Tuesday, November 4th, 3rd? One of those days. Anyway, coming up soon, we'll be talking about that a little bit. But there are some headlines from this week. Cam Skattebo is out for the rest of the season with a dislocated ankle. We'll discuss that. We'll also be talking about Aiden Hutchinson's contract extension, staying with the Detroit Lions for 4 more years. We'll also be talking about all of the returning quarterbacks coming into Week 9. There's a few of them that are hoping to spark some fire for their team. And then we also have the Titans update, and we will be discussing Week 8 recap. We'll be talking about some of the games that happened in Week 8. But tonight, we are joined by none other than Alex Handley. It is a Thursday. He is not on the coast this evening teaching, so he is joining us on the show. Thanks for joining us, Alex.
It's good to be here. Good to be back.
How's it going?
It's been busy. But we see the light at the end of the tunnel, and that's all we can ask for.
Almost there. Almost Dr. Handley.
Almost.
Closer and closer. How does that feel? Does that feel weird? Getting called Dr. Handley?
Yeah, and I've had that thought too, like for a while, like about like what will I want to be called, because I mean, Dillon, you know me, I'm too informal of a human being to want to be called like doctor last name. So I think I will likely be maybe a Dr. H, a doc. Maybe have students call me Doc. I like that one.
Okay.
I've even tossed around like within my studio specifically, like, hey, in our private like rehearsals and stuff like that, you can call me Alex. But make sure when you're talking to other students and you reference me out in the hallways, like, then it needs to be Doc, Dr. H, Dr. Handley, something like that.
Yep.
We'll see. We'll have to vibe that out. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to vibe that one out though.
If you're out there in the chat and have any suggestions for Alex's doctor name, feel free to throw them in the chat. We'd love to see that. If you're tuning in on YouTube, thank you. Also subscribe if you're new to the channel. Also, if you are listening to the audio-only podcast, what are you doing? Listen to us weekly live instead. Watch the video podcast. Tonight we're watching the Ravens game against the Dolphins on Thursday Night Football. That is going to be this is the second screen experience for that game for the first hour or so of that game. So feel free to pop us on to the telly next to the Ravens Dolphins game. It's always a good time talking about football here. I do have one of Peeper's picks this week. Alex will not be joining us to share the entire slate for this weekend. However, he did call me before the show. We did put together a same game parlay for Thursday Night Football, so I will share that now. If you would like to indulge, you can. I think you have some time now. Yeah, you have about 5 minutes to put this parlay in if you'd like to indulge if you're listening tonight. Baltimore Ravens money line. Feel pretty good about this game for the Ravens. I think they're going to be trying to get back in there in the playoff run, playoff contention. Alex's second team. Hopefully he can have somebody to cheer for in the playoffs this year. Derrick Henry, over 87.5 rushing yards. Derrick Henry, anytime touchdown. Lamar Jackson, under 230.5 passing yards. And Malik Washington, wide receiver for the Dolphins, emerging as wide receiver 2 currently because Tyreek Hill's injury a few weeks ago. 20-plus yards receiving. So that little parlay on FanDuel, at the time that I put it in was plus 449 were the odds there. So Pretty good parlay. What do you think about that parlay, Alex? What are you feeling about that? You had a face on some of the legs that I explained there.
Yeah. Well, for one,
Do I need to share
we
logic with
know.
you on some of these picks?
I mean, I'd like to hear the logic on why some of them. Like I can understand an under on passing for Lamar, but at the same time, like Miami's not does not have a good. Basically, I just wonder like why so small on some of these? Like why are we going just like 80? What was it? 89 over 89 yards or something like that for Derrick
87 and a
Henry.
half. That was the line.
87 and a half. That was the line.
That was
See,
the line.
you and I know
Oh, yeah. It's going
that
over that.
Derrick Henry runs wild on Miami.
Especially on
And
prime time.
yeah.
On
Like
prime time.
if they give him the ball, he's gonna go crazy tonight.
Which they're going to.
I would honestly say 2 touchdowns for Derrick Henry tonight. If this was me, like that would be my guess.
That's getting spicy.
My guess would be over 119 and a half. Like that's probably where I would put it. Over 119 and a half.
Ooh.
2 touchdowns. I think he has a big game. I think it's going to really heavily rely on him. I don't mind the under on Lamar Jackson. I think that one's kind of 50-50, but I mean, that's also the purpose of that line being what it is.
Yep.
If he goes over, I'm not going to be surprised. And if he goes under, I won't be super surprised either. That being said, the one that was not like an over under on this line was the over 20 yards for Malik Washington. I don't know that I would put much stock in someone who is emerging as a wide receiver too.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're gonna take that risk, I mean, this is the Baltimore Ravens defense, specifically their DBs we're gambling on, and they're terrible. They're terrible, Dillon.
I know that.
Give yourself the odds. Make a little extra money.
True. I don't want to get too
Waddle
greedy
plus
here.
50.
That's the thing about gambling for me, especially parlays. If I can put together some legs that I know I feel 95% on, that I feel as though they will hit, in a perfect world, these will hit. So the reason why 20 plus yards, he's averaging 30 plus receiving yards, more than 30 plus receiving yards over the past 2 weeks since Tyreek Hill's injury. So he is in that wide receiver 2 spot. Jalen Waddle is wide receiver number 1, obviously. So Malik Washington is the guy at wide receiver 2. He's the second option, pass catching option for Tua. Derrick Henry, obviously, he's going to go over that. He's going to go over 87.5. I believe that with Lamar Jackson coming into this game, his first start in a few weeks since his injury, they're going to try to ease him into the game. And if they can win this game on the back of Derrick Henry, then I think they're going to do it. They want to do that. They want to go into this game that some consider a cakewalk in the realm of Baltimore Ravens fans. I would assume they would feel as though this is going to be a pretty easy win for them. But you're going to run the ball. You're not going to be passing the ball that much. You're not going to be putting the ball in harm's way with Lamar Jackson throwing the ball everywhere. And also, he'll probably use his legs as well. So I think there's going to be a lot of rushing in this game. Derrick Henry, anytime touchdown, again, I think it's going to be easier to hit than 2 touchdowns. I agree with you. I think that there's more of an opportunity to hit those 2 touchdowns. I think that he can definitely do that in this game. But 1 touchdown is, hey, if I'm getting minus 110 odds, 115 odds, something along I think that's what it was anyway, then I'm fine with that. And then last but not least, the Ravens money line, obviously. I think that's going to be pretty much a given in this game. Lamar Jackson under 230.5. That's a lot of passing yards first game back. Again, I think they're just going to rely on the run a lot in this game and bully the Dolphins on the line. So we'll see how it goes. But that's the parlay that I put together tonight. And again, it's plus odds. It seems like a pretty easy bet. But again, anything goes in the NFL. It seems like I've seen a lot of bets this season losing by 1 leg. And,
Sure.
We'll see how it goes. Anyway, speaking of quarterbacks coming back, we can actually hop into that So Lamar's coming back tonight for the Ravens. As you can see on the ticker below us, it talked about teams that are have the same record as the Ravens do this far into the season. There's a 1% chance that team will make the playoffs. And there are only 4 teams or 5 teams, I believe it said, that have made the playoffs in this particular situation. The Ravens want to be the next team to do so. With Lamar coming back, you would hope that'd be the case. It seems like their defense, especially watching the first game of the season against the Bills, their defense giving up a lot of points and a huge comeback win for the Buffalo Bills to start the season off on the right foot. That's a bit of the Achilles heel for this team so far this season. So I'm sure they're probably going to be looking on the market to see if there's any movement of DBs potentially. That's one team that I would say in that particular situation, they're probably going to be buying instead of selling if you're the Ravens. So I'm sure they're going to be looking on the market for DBs. They're going to be looking for some defensive help, especially. But do you think the Ravens can get to that point to where they're back in the playoffs, back in the hunt, and make some noise there? Or do you think that it's too far gone in this scenario?
It's tough, right? We're heading into the trade deadline, which means we're about to hit the halfway point of the season. Or just shy of the halfway point of the season. And man, it's one of those situations where the like that old moniker of like defense wins championships is very clearly on display. And when you look at what the rest of their schedule is, I mean, it's not like it gets that. I mean, it gets a little bit better, but it certainly doesn't get much better. So, I mean, so we have Vikings next week. We have Dolphins tonight, which, looking at their schedule, is maybe the second easiest game they have. Next easiest would be the Jets. So, assuming, let's say we can assume that they're going to win those 2 games. That still doesn't put them at a positive record, right? They have the Browns coming up after the Vikings, which they whooped up pretty handedly on the Browns back in week 2. But, I mean, the Browns defense has been no joke lately. I mean, and other than just like, the game where, Joe Flacco decided he's a Super Bowl MVP caliber player again, I don't know, because, I mean, they still have Myles Garrett. The defense looks great. We'll see. Then you have the Jets, the Bengals. The Bengals are not a great defense, but they clearly, with Joe Flacco, they found something. They got the Bengals twice. They have the Bengals 2 more times this season still coming up. They have the Steelers 2 more times, which they've been hot and cold. If I'm being honest with you, and then they have the Patriots and the Packers. I mean, I can't. When you see what they are doing right now, they're 2-5, and you see the teams they have coming up, and their defense is playing the way they are. I don't know, Dylan. Maybe they need to be selling at the deadline, because I think they have an uphill battle ahead of them to have any chance of sniffing the playoffs. They're looking at a wild card at best, I think.
Yeah. I can agree with that. I think that on the flip side of this whole scenario, I think that the Ravens have a great path to make some noise because they have so many division games left. They have 5 division games left in the season. So when you win a division game like that, that's typically really accounts for like 2 wins.
Sure.
In that regard. So I think you have some opportunities to capitalize on. Yes, the defense has to be better, and I think that's the reason why they're going to be buyers at the trade deadline for not necessarily this season, but for seasons to come as well. For the next few seasons, they can try to find some pieces on the trade market if somebody's out there offering up a guy that they can't pass on. I think that they're going to be wanting to pick them up. and see what they can do. I mean, another guy that you might see back in Baltimore next year, Denard Wilson, most likely, I would assume. After this season with the Titans, I don't think he's going to remain the DC with the new coaching regime, so I would think that he would probably want to go somewhere where he can get back to his roots a little bit, help out with the DB room there, see if he can work his way back up and get in the conversation once again for being a head coaching nominee or a head coaching candidate for a team that's head coaching, who has a head coach opening. So I think we could probably see something like that occur, but getting some guys in the locker room that can actually play on defense and some playmakers, I think they're going to be looking for that. I mean, again, they have the schedule. If they can just tweak some things on defense, I think they have the schedule to get back into it and get into a wild card spot. They're not winning the division. I don't see that happening. They're not going to win out the rest of the season. You know, even if they're, I don't know, 11-6, 10-7.
Who wins that division? The Steelers?
I would assume so at this point. They seem like the strongest team. However, last week against the Packers, I didn't even think the Packers were playing that well this year. Their record, it looks great, obviously, yes. But they weren't playing up to the level I thought they would be playing at this point. Defense is looking good. Mike Parsons is coming on, which is nice for them. He got a sack in the game against the Steelers. But I think they were a bit underwhelming at their record. But last week, they surprised me. The Steelers' defense just didn't look the best against the Packers.
Haven't looked good all season.
No.
So hot. They've been hot and cold.
They have been. So, I mean, that's the thing. I think the Ravens have a shot to make a wild card spot because the AFC has just been wide open really this year. Yeah. It's really been wide open. NFC seems like they have a few teams that are getting ahead of the pack a little bit, creating some separation. But the AFC, it's gonna be open for the playoffs this year.
Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, when you look at this, look at who they have left, right? Like we said, Vikings. I don't know. They've not impressed me with JJ McCarthy.
Nope.
The Jets. I mean, that's kind of an any given Sunday kind of situation. Like, sure, they could lose it, but goodness gracious, how do they? Browns. I mean, right? I mean, they beat the Browns earlier this season, 41-17, and that was with a better quarterback than what they have now. I think it's going to come. I mean, these two Bengals games, it's going to come down to their division games because I don't know. I don't see them beating the Patriots with the way the Patriots are playing. I don't see them beating the Packers. I mean, they're going to really depend on the Steelers' defense having bad nights, and they're going to be counting on the Bengals' defense playing like the Bengals' defense. So who knows? I mean, there's a path to winning the division, but it's going to require the Steelers to basically not be the Tomlinson Steelers and
I don't know if you've seen some of the AI videos that Sora's come out with recently on TikTok of Mike Tomlin in the locker room saying, "Okay, guys, now it's time for us to get to that 9-8 record again," and just it's this is a funny thing because they looked like they were really, really good. Start of the season, they were hot. That was a hot team, and now they're sitting at 4-3. I mean, they could easily start turning for the worst as well if their defense doesn't start stepping up for them. I don't know what injury-wise they're looking at, but it didn't look good last week against a team that I thought they could have easily won against, especially with their offense, but they just weren't able to put anything together. So yeah, I think the Ravens have a shot. The Ravens have a shot still. If their best team in their division is 4-3, then they still can make some noise. Just it's a bit of an uphill battle, like you said earlier. So I think we'll just have to keep an eye on that. Other quarterbacks that are coming back this weekend, it sounds like Kyler Murray is looking like he's going to be playing against the Cowboys this weekend. And J.J. McCarthy as well for the Vikings. Of those two quarterbacks, who do you think will make the biggest impact on their teams coming back?
I mean, can they just both not make an impact? I don't know. Like,
Bit of a
look,
wash.
you know what? I'm gonna say JJ. I think JJ's set to make a bigger impact, not because Kyler isn't bad. New Call of Duty hasn't come out yet, as
Hmm.
so many people like to point out, but
Battlefield
Battlefield is
6
out.
did. Yeah, Battlefield 6 came
Battlefield
out.
6 did come out.
And also the Battle Royale
But
came out, so which is very good actually,
yeah,
by the way. It's very, very good.
yeah, I've watched a little bit of it, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Kyler has a little bit more explosive like ability. He's obviously got more of the relationship with Marvin Harrison Jr. and everybody. So I mean, I think they're kind of even, to be fair, because I mean, I think JJ's just gonna be is gonna be safer. Because I mean, goodness gracious, I mean Carson Wentz has been playing Carson Wentz football. Okay, sorry. We just had a fumble
Oh,
recovered by the defense in the in looks like the Baltimore Ravens just got the ball back at the 8-yard line.
oh, okay. Well, that's a good
Yeah.
thing. Defense is stepping
Yep.
up.
Defense is
It is
stepping
the
up.
Dolphins,
So
but still, defense is stepping up.
yeah. So
Dolphins are still up 3-0, right?
3-0, yeah.
3-0.
But yeah, I mean JJ's safer. And I think he's a little bit more athletic than Carson Wentz. I mean, but yeah, I mean that last game I watched with Carson Wentz was yikes. I mean, he looked like it's how like Pat McAfee and them, they say it's Carson Wentz football.
Yep.
The highs are highs and the lows are abysmally low.
And that's the thing. I mean, looking at his numbers, I need to go back and see because last week I didn't think his stat line was that bad. I might be thinking of another quarterback, but I feel as though his numbers were not as bad as what the score indicated at the end of the game. But yeah, I mean, it seems like Carson Wentz has reverted back to his old ways, like the Colts days.
I mean, it's what
And
he does. He comes in. Oh, I thought Derrick Henry got that touchdown already.
oh, he's gonna get it. What is he at now?
He'll get it on
What yard line?
half-yard line.
Oh yeah, he'll get it. They'll give it to him.
Yeah, they're putting him at the 1. They're putting him pretty far back, but yeah, he's about to.
Yeah, he's gonna
Oh,
bust through the line.
Yeah, Patrick Ricard sitting there, I formation.
That's right, baby.
Oh, they stopped him. They stopped him. But yeah,
Okay.
JJ's just a safer bet. Kyler Murray has the relationship. I think they're both fairly even. I think their teams are going to be happy to see them. I just, if we're talking about JJ McCarthy and the Vikings, the fact that they didn't hang on to dear life to Sam Darnold is crazy.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. They didn't want to pay him. They felt as though JJ was the guy. They felt as though he was going to be the savior. And the organization felt as though Kevin O'Connell is this quarterback whisperer. He's going to get the best out of that player. Whoever is playing quarterback, whether it be Sam Darnold, whether it be Carson Wentz, whether it be their savior, JJ McCarthy, who they just drafted 2 seasons ago, or last season. So I get it. I get the reason why they decided to move forward with JJ instead. But yes, after seeing what Sam did in Minnesota and then now seeing what Sam's doing in Seattle and how well they're playing, where they're tied for first in their division, hindsight's 2020, but I think anybody watching the team last year with Sam Darnold at the helm could see that Sam Darnold was the guy. Sam Darnold should have been the guy to stay there in Minnesota to lead that team, and he could probably have done some good things with Kevin O'Connell. But JJ coming back, though, I think that is a huge thing. I think that, are you freaking kidding me? Why are you throwing it to Mark Andrews?
Okay. It was 4th and 2.
That's so dumb. Speaking of Carson Wentz, his numbers did not look that bad. The final score is 37-10. Obviously, Chargers just laid it on. Carson Wentz, 15 to 27, 144 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So, like, not bad. That's not a bad stat line. It's not the best, but I wouldn't say it was terrible. I don't know. Regardless, I think that JJ will provide a spark? Is their starting quarterback coming back? I think JJ had time now after the start of the season, how he wasn't playing the best. He had that one half in the first game of the season, the second half, where he came back, had a huge win in week 1. And then after that, just kind of sputtered. I think that we'll see JJ come back now. He had time to stand on the sideline, to reflect on his time in the first couple of weeks, how he played. And I think we'll probably see a better version of JJ coming out this week. But Kyler coming back is huge. I think Kyler being able to provide that athleticism, provide that superstar, that impact player, and also throwing to Marvin Harrison Jr. as well, that they started having a connection to before his injury. I think that's going to be a huge lift for the Cardinals. So I would say I would probably give the edge to the Cardinals, because in the Viking situation, you have to rely on J.J. McCarthy, but the coaching of Kevin O'Connell for J.J. to be great, for J.J. to go out there and actually be a good quarterback. But with Kyler, it's just Kyler. Go out there, be Kyler Murray. You've been in the league for several years now. You're a vet. Go out there and help your team win some games. I think Kyler's probably going to be more impactful than JJ is. But again, I still think JJ is going to be playing better than he did before the injury. Cam Skattebo this past weekend, terrible injury. A right ankle dislocation, which also had an open tibia fracture and a ruptured deltoid ligament. The open tibia fracture means that the bone broke the skin. So that's the reason why there was an emergency surgery for Cam Skattebo after he got taken to the hospital that night. They say he's fine. They say he's recovering well. All in good spirits there. I believe that Big Dom brought over some cheesesteaks and pizza to the hospital afterwards as well. So kudos to Big Dom and the Philadelphia Eagles. But that's a huge impact. You saw how much of a deal it was, how big of a deal it was when Jackson Dart was emotional on the field, walked over to him on the cart and actually gave him a headbutt before he went out there back into the locker room. That connection is going to be special in New York, and I'm sure Giants fans are going to love those two guys for years to come, and they're going to do some good things in New York. But very, very tough for Cam Skattebo to go down. Now, their backup quarterback, Tracy Thomas, I believe it was. Tracy something. He's going to be the backup. He's the backup running back. He's going to come in Cam's place. But again, the connection between Jackson Dart and Cam Skattebo was just very, very good. Special. Yeah, special. It's going to be tough. Do you think that this injury will impact the way the organization looks at Brian Daboll and how he was able to produce this season as the head coach, in looking at if he is the future for that team?
I think Jackson Dart has been good enough to save Brian Daboll's job already. Just realistically, he made the choice to put in Jackson Dart. It provided that spark. I think it has at the very least bought him another season, which is good for him. I'm going to be curious to see how the team looks moving forward. I mean, they look good. Like, the team looks good. However, how is Jackson Dart going to look moving forward without a real viable running threat? That is what I'm going to be curious to see. Because as we know, a great run game leads to a great pass game. A bad run game, you got to be something special to be able to work without that. So that's what I'm going to be curious to see. Is I think there's going to be some regression from Jackson Dart moving forward into these next couple of games. The question is how much, right? That's going to be the question, is how much. And I just don't know. We haven't seen Jackson Dart without Cam Skattebo on the field. Cam Skattebo was not just a great runner. He was the scapegoat. he was who Jackson Dart went to in his times of need. Um, so so it is going to be it, I just don't know what it's going to look like now.
Yeah.
What I hope is that Jackson Dart looks exactly the same and he still looks as explosive and energized as ever. But I mean, they're not just missing a great running back out there, they're missing like kind of the heart and soul of their team on offense. Realistically, like it was the duo of them and that friendship and that connection that drove that team. So it's gonna be a game to watch this week.
Yeah.
I picked up their tight end for fantasy this week because I'm thinking he needs a new scapegoat, and tight ends are always a great scapegoat.
Theo Johnson.
Yeah, so I went in and picked him up, seeing because I think if he needs one, that's who it's gonna be. Um, that being said, I mean, get ready for that team next year, man. Malik Neighbors coming back, another year of hopefully decent drafting. I think if that team's smart, maybe another wide receiver early on, because I mean the O line looks good, the defensive line is unreal. For like their front four for defense is unreal. So yeah, I think it'll be curious to see what happens. But I went ahead and picked up that tight end, just a little gamble.
Yep.
See what happens.
Theo Johnson. I had him in my lineup last week. Did not provide much there. He is the number 15 tight end though in fantasy.
Yep.
So he definitely provides some upside, which is good, especially having, like you said, another scapegoat, another target to throw to. I think it was Tyrone Tracy is the running back there. Tyrone Tracy Jr.
Yeah.
He was the starting running back there before Cam Skattebo. So he does have some experience as a starting running back. I did pick him up in fantasy earlier this week as well, and it looks like he is rostered in 85% of ESPN fantasy leagues currently. So he is my running back 2 on my fantasy team, my money league actually. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be really hard to replace him. Really hard to replace Cam Skattebo coming in for the rest of the season. I think, like you said, I do believe that Brian Daboll is safe for at least another year. I think the team's going to realize that they have the pieces there to at least put a team on the field next season to be competitive. And I think that if they are unable to be successful next year with Malik Neighbors, with Cam Skattebo, with that defensive line, with Jackson Dart at the helm, I think that that's when you'll start to hear some rumors and start to see some movement when it comes to the head coaching position. But I think Daboll, like you said, I think Daboll is safe this year. He can use these injuries as a bit of a scapegoat in regard to his job performance. And I think the team would be more than happy to accept that and go into next year with Brian at the helm once again. So we'll see how that goes with the Giants. But again, rough. I mean, I just loved seeing all the videos, all the memes of Cam Skattebo on the field, all the videos of there was one where I saw him and it wasn't him. It was just a parody video of Cam Skattebo preparing for a high school. I know, actually it wasn't. It was actually a video of him. It's so crazy because these things that you see online, you're like, oh, this is just a parody video. But no, it's actually him. It was him preparing for a high school game or a college game or something, beating his head up against a brick wall with his helmet on before a game.
Yeah, high school.
You thought it would be a Biggie cook the book, video, meme video. But no, it was him just, banging his head up against the wall before a game. That man's wild.
Dude, he's so much fun.
He probably already has CTE.
Fun person out.
But it's crazy to think that an ankle injury was the thing that took him down. Not a concussion.
Well, you said deltoid as well?
Yeah, a ruptured deltoid ligament as well.
I have to wonder if that happened at a different time and he just was playing through it. Because deltoid shoulder.
That's what it said on here.
Yeah, I mean, because that's your deltoid is
maybe so.
these these muscles here.
Yeah,
So
and if that's the case, then that's he's playing through it.
He seems like the kind of guy to just play through through something like that. But he did also land on his shoulder, in that twisting motion. So maybe because of the twisting motion, the pain there, he gave up his shoulder in a weird way, or
maybe so. I could see that happening. I can't wait for him to get back on the field for the Giants. I feel for those fans once again. Injury like that, not really helping you out in a season that looked like you had some hope, a little bit of hope there in New York. Not much, but a little bit. Big player in Detroit, Aiden Hutchinson, former first-round overall draft pick, number 1 overall draft pick. Got a 4-year extension with the Lions. 2-year? Second? Was he a second?
Number 2 overall. That was the
Who was
year
number 1 overall that year?
Jacksonville Jaguars took
Was it? Was he number 2?
Yeah. Because it was like, who's going to go number 1? And they like, everyone was hoping that it would be the other guy so that Detroit could take Aiden number 2. Who is it? It's not, the name coming to my brain is Kayvon Thibodeau, but Thibodeau's with the Giants.
I'll find out. That's right. He was second overall. It looked like he went 2022 draft. Let's find this out.
Who's number 1?
Trayvon Walker.
Trayvon Walker.
Yep. So should have been number 1 overall, Aiden Hutchinson. Got a 4-year, $180 million extension. $130 million of that is fully guaranteed. And it is the highest non-quarterback guaranteed total in NFL history.
Man, it's crazy to think that. I mean, because think about who's been setting those deals. That was Myles Garrett, and then who edged out Myles Garrett's contract right before the season. Micah Parsons.
That's right, Micah.
It was Micah Parsons, and now Aiden Hutchinson. And I know that it's like one of those deals. Like once Myles Garrett still got done, it was inevitable that that's where Aiden Hutchinson was going to be. Which, I mean, because he's looked lights out again this year. So like, yeah, I mean, the money's deserved. In that position, the way he gets to the quarterback, the way he gets after the ball, like if that's the market, he deserves to be at the top of the market. It will be curious to see. Good for the Lions for going and knocking this out now instead of waiting until the end, waiting until next offseason when who knows what the market was going to become. I don't see a world in which it gets much, much worse this next year because, I mean, what quarterbacks are coming up to get paid, and I don't think any of them are going to be getting paid much more than what Dak Prescott got paid. Like, I don't think there's any of them that are going to get paid what Dak Prescott got paid. I don't know of any other edge defenders besides Aiden Hutchinson that would be coming up that would be getting that kind of money. So it might be kind of a light year as far as all that's concerned. But I guess Trey Hendrickson, when he inevitably goes to a different team than the Bengals, he might get paid pretty well. But I don't know if Trey Hendrickson's going to make that kind of money. So
yeah, I don't know. I think the edge position is a premium position, obviously, in the league, and there's only I would probably say 5-10 guys that are there that are in that conversation of being all-star elite defensive ends. I think Max Crosby's up there, Aiden Hutchinson, Myles Garrett, the guys we discussed. So, Aiden Hutchinson definitely deserves that contract. You saw the impact he had off the field last year for the Lions. I mean, he led the league in sacks for how many weeks after he got injured? I mean, he was still in the top 5. He was still in the top 5 at the end of the season. Just insane. So Aiden Hutchinson definitely deserves that contract. A huge contract, but a well-deserved payday for Hutchinson. Speaking of guys, defensive ends, well, actually, Charlie and Dad are in the comments. Hello, sir. Thank you for joining us. Myles Garrett with the Browns. There's rumors. There's some rumors out there. He could potentially be moved at the right price, which they just paid him handsomely in the offseason for him to stay. He talked about, I wanted to go to a contender and all this stuff. And then after that, like a week later, he said, well, I'm going to take the bag
like
from
the next
Cleveland.
day.
Yeah, I'm going to take the bag from Cleveland instead. Kind of talking out both ends of his mouth. And there was a press conference he was in talking about the season, and it seemed pretty down on himself. But it's like, buddy, you brought this on yourself. You decided to take the bag instead of going somewhere instead.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Charlie and Dad said that Garrett would be a perfect fit for the Bears. The Bears are actually pretty used to getting guys like that, though. Khalil Mack was one of the big names they got a few years ago. They got him in a trade from the Chargers. So, I mean, I could see maybe. But, I mean, would you consider the Bears to be contenders right now? I mean, I'm sure that Myles Garrett, if he had his way, would want to go somewhere that is pretty much a contender to be a Super Bowl champ. So, I mean, do you think the Bears are that way? Do you think that Garrett would make them a contender?
No, I think they need another year or two and another couple. They've been drafting well, so I think they just need another year or two to really get solidified. The name that I've heard the most, which I think is kind of an odd one, but I kind of love it. The name I've heard the most is the Patriots. Looking at them as a contender seems odd, but also like, man, if they haven't looked good. And I feel like the other big thing for them is like, dude, wouldn't you love for Vrabel to have just a truly elite defensive end? Right? Because I mean, like, think about his relationship with Jeff Simmons, right? Dude, he loved Big Jeff.
Yeah, he did.
That was special. I mean, someone like Myles Garrett playing for the Patriots. I mean, they already have been looking pretty darn good. Yeah, that would
What's
be
their salary cap looking like these days? Let me look at
they have the most salary cap room.
$52.5 million currently.
Yeah. They're
That's
doing
not bad.
okay.
That's not bad.
They're doing okay. The other big thing too is Myles Garrett's contract is shockingly team friendly, and shockingly move friendly. I think that there's just not a situation where the Browns come out good in the trade, though. Unfortunately, like, his cap hits are low for the next couple of years, but I think there'd still be a year with like a $40 million dead space hit on the Browns from what I saw someone post.
Yeah, so it looks like Spot Rack has the contract here for Myles Garrett. Looks like cap hit this year is $22.9 million. Next year is $24.6. The next year in 2027, $28.9, almost $29 mil. Cap hit in 28 is $31. Cap hit in 29 is $64.9 million. And in 2030, it's $57.9, almost $58. Dead cap hit this year is $124.6 million. Dead cap hit. Next year, 102.8. The next year, 55.8. 2028, 13.5. That could be the out for them. And then 2029 would be 4.9 mil. Crazy numbers. When it comes to, let me see. I want to see how much it is for. I guess I can't really see it here. I was going to see cap percentage, 8.21% currently. And in 2029, when he's making cap at $64.9 million, that's going to be 15.88%. Crazy.
Is that based on like a projected cap?
I
Like
think
percentage
so.
based on a projected cap?
I think so. Yeah.
Because I mean, man, it seems hard to believe that like there's more people are going to be getting into that NFL space soon.
Especially all the
And I
streaming
think,
services that are coming in now with all these new deals, TV deals. Prime is re-upping their Black Friday game. YouTube is getting in on the action. I think Amazon Prime actually has a playoff game this year as
nice.
well. So like there's definitely a lot of money coming into these deals, these contracts. For Are you kidding me? They're gonna have to start running it with Derek. They're gonna have to give him he's gonna get a touchdown. Well, what's the score now? 14-3? Is that it? Can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh. 14-3? Is that the score?
Yeah.
Okay. See? What's Lamar at passing wise right now?
I mean that was a pretty decent little toss. So let's see. See if we can find this pretty quickly. I mean, it's not going to be much because both their fields have been relatively short. But he's at 5 of 7 for 74 yards.
Okay. Good. I was about to say, as long as he's underneath 100 right now, I think that's good.
Yeah, I mean because I mean they had that first touchdown was only they got down to the
2
8
yards. Yeah, it's 2
Derrick
yards.
Henry, Derrick Henry took him down to the 1. So yeah, it was like a 2-yard touchdown, but now this one was like a little bit more than that. I guess it was a 20-yard touchdown. So
Mark Andrews, I dropped him as my tight end. I might have dropped him. I had him on my roster. I think I put him on the bench because he was just not producing anything towards the beginning of the season. But I guess he's making up for that playoff loss last year. 2 touchdowns tonight. It's the lowly Dolphins. But I think Derrick Henry's going to bust out one soon. He'll bust out a long touchdown soon in this game. Anyway, let's get over to the Titans update. Did you watch this game this weekend?
I watched. I think I told you this. Like at this point, when it comes to the Titans games, I'm kind of just catching them on when they pop up on Red Zone. I watched a little bit more of this game just because it was the afternoon game. But I think I still turned it off eventually. I think it was after the 80-yard Taylor touchdown. I was like, I'm not even getting upset watching the games anymore. It's just,
yeah. That's the
thing. Not
thing.
even worth the energy.
Mike McCarthy. Sorry. Got Mike McCarthy on the brain. Mike McCoy is the interim head coach. He got it 2 weeks ago. This is his second game as the interim head coach, and this one against the Colts, which we knew it was going to be bad anyway. The Colts are a force in the AFC, especially in the AFC South. They are running away with the division right now. I guess the Texans are kind of starting to pick up steam a little bit, but not really that much. Jaguars are wavering like we're used to seeing them waver at this point in the season. The Colts are trucking along. They're playing really, really well on offense. They have a really good defense as well. They've had a good defense for a while. They were going to have a very hard time with the Titans were going to have a very hard time against the Colts this weekend. I think we all expected that. They kept it close in the first half. Beginning of the second half is where the conservatism that we were used to seeing from Brian Callahan snuck in again, reared its ugly head as it has the past 2 weeks, which last week I said, you know what? I mean, 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago I said, you know what? Mike McCoy, it's his first game as a head coach. He had less than a week to prepare in this game. They're going to have the same tendencies as they had the previous, 6 weeks of the season. This game, however, you had another week to prepare, another week to go in to implement some sort of change in this game. your defense shits the bed overall. Giving up an 80-yard touchdown to Jonathan Taylor where he shed, 3 blocks to run into the end zone. Just terrible tackling, not wrapping up your guy. Getting there, diving too early, getting a hand on him, and he just shrugs him off and just keeps running. Just no resistance whatsoever from the defense, especially not having Jeffrey Simmons out there, which has been a huge blow for this defense this season so far. Cam Ward looked good for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think he threw some great balls. I think he was very efficient for the most part too. There were some times where, yes, they missed some passes, things of that nature. The one big play, Alec Iomanner stopped running on the right side. He was running. It was kind of a post route, but it kind of veered to the right sideline. He just gave up on the play. He just stopped running for a few seconds and then started running again. And the ball was 5 yards in front of him where he probably would have caught it if he had kept running, kept in the play. Regardless, the 4th and 3rd play where Mike McCoy decided to punt the ball instead of go for it when your offense is actually moving the ball at this point. You were in plus territory. You could have gotten 3 yards. You would assume you could get 3 yards, especially being down 10 points. Decided to punt it, and the very next play was the Jonathan Taylor 80-yard touchdown. Just brutal in this game. I didn't even watch it. I listened to it on the radio. I was driving back from Georgia, seeing family this past weekend. Just so hard to listen to. So hard, especially having the bright spot in Cam Ward, Chim DK, just stacking games. He's stacking games. He's looking so good.
I picked him up this week.
You should. He's the number one. Alec Iomanner has fallen off, to me, compared to what he was doing earlier on in the season.
I think you got to think with that, though. Like, I think to be somewhat fair to Iomanner, he's now getting their cornerback one because Ridley's off the field.
For sure.
I think at the end of the day, Iomanner will be like a really solid wide receiver, like 3. Like, he's a good slot receiver. And that's what he was. That's what he did in college.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he never was like the super fast deep go route guy. That's DK. Like, we got him because of speed. He's getting DK is getting out of the slot and getting put against like these cornerback 2s. So he's kind of burning them a little bit. Cornerback 1's being spent on Iomanner. I think I'd say to be fair to Iomanner, like, I think once Calvin Ridley's back on the field, especially now that the offensive line is starting to look a little bit better, there were several moments that I watched where, like, there was a lot of time in the pocket. Like, he looked way safer, more comfortable. And I've noticed much more significant improvement over the last 2 weeks compared to the last year and a half.
J.C. Latham is looking better too over the past week or two.
Yeah, like, his first game back was rough. It was his first game back. But yeah, he's looking better. The offensive line is starting to gel. It seems like Bill Callahan it looks like the Callahans and the Titans just weren't a great mix. Because Brian Callahan was supposed to be this, savior of the offensive line. And they looked as bad, if not worse, than they had before him the whole time. And now they've got, these new guys coming in here doing a little bit of it they've got like 2 guys in there kind of working by committee, and they've looked much, 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 much better. I mean, and then you keep looking at the rest of the team, right? Like, the offensive line's looking better. Gunnar Helm seems like he's going to be a heck of a guy.
Yeah, he is.
What a great late round pick. He's blocking more. His hands are good. So, like, that's great.
And his first touchdown on National Tight Ends Day.
Of course, it had to happen that way.
Yep.
Like, when you look at it, like, when you look at some of the things, there's a lot of bright spots on the offense. What does the offense still need? The offense still needs a good running back. We need a real, run attack, and we need a real wide receiver one. Like Calvin Ridley, he's too old. Like
Yeah. I mean, I'll be interested to see
too
what
old and too
happens when he
injury
comes
prone.
back, if he comes back. I wouldn't be surprised if he was a guy that was traded, but the contract's going to be a huge barrier for that.
Yeah.
So the Titans will have to eat a lot of that contract if they want to move him, which I don't know if they'll do. So we'll see if he gets moved. If he doesn't get moved, I'll be interested to see what's different between Callahan leading the charge and McCoy leading the charge with him out there on the field. I do hear you about Io Manor. I think that it is tough, especially getting that assignment as wide receiver number 1. Chimdike was kind of lined up more as wide receiver 2, so I understand that aspect as well. I just think that Alec was that like jump ball guy in the first couple of games. Just lob it up to him, see what happens, see what he can do. You can still try to do that now. Take those chances. You have a few chances that open up. Obviously, yes, Alec giving up on that play, that deep play where he would have had a huge gain, if not a touchdown. I think that was rough to see, but he'll have some chances out there. I think that definitely try to get him the ball more. But one last thing before we get to just a quick recap of some of the games that were interested in me this weekend. Xavier Restrepo, are you in it or out on him coming up, getting called up from the practice squad at this point?
I mean, at this point, like, do something, right? Do something not so boring. Like, I totally understand if he is the one that on the practice squad hasn't looked, I don't know, hasn't looked as good or something. I don't know. But dude, we saw what the two of them did in Miami together.
Yep.
We're talking of they set records at what is like one of the greatest franchises in college football history. Why are we what's the hesitation to just put him out there? You don't have to put him out there every play. He doesn't have to play 65 plays. But put him out there. Put him in the slot and let him try to do something. And you know what? If you put him out there for a game and he looks terrible, you can come back and you can say, "See, told you so." And that's fine. But just shut us up. Shut up, Titans Online fans. Like, shut them up and just give the kid a chance. You brought him in. You didn't bring him in because, like, as an undrafted guy for any reason other than his connection to Cam Ward and the hope that maybe you could develop him into something. But if you're not letting him see games, you're hindering that chance for development. So just put him in. We're dog shit. So who cares if your wide receiver 4 or 5 looks like shit? It doesn't matter at this point.
Yeah.
We're fighting the Jets for the number 1 overall pick.
I mean, I think Mason Kinsey's the only reason why he keeps getting called up is because he has that special teams experience. He has, I guess, if Chimdike goes down, he could be a returner back there for punts and for kickoff. I don't know how many special teams snaps he's taken getting called up on game days. But I don't think that outweighs the potential that you could see with Xavier Restrepo having that familiarity with Cam. He's known to get open. Even if he's not as fast as other players out on the field, he's known to go out there, find the open space, and help his quarterback get a completion, an easy completion typically. So, yeah, I think that there's, even in the preseason, there was one catch. Someone was saying, like, why are people so hung up on Xavier Restrepo because he didn't do much in the preseason? There was one video that I saw, and it was a third down play, I believe, at the chains. Xavier Restrepo it was a little curl route. It was a very, very shallow curl route right at the sticks. Turned around, grabbed it with his hand, strong catch. in traffic around 2 defenders, I believe, that were closing in on him, and he got the ball. He got the first down. They said because of that play, that one play, it's the reason why we want to see Xavier Restrepo out there. Just see what he can do. Just to see what he can do.
Give him a chance.
Give him a chance.
I think that's all Titans fans are asking at this point is like, give us a reason to watch the game. And I think if you put Xavier Restrepo out there, people are going to watch the game. And if you put out there, hey, Xavier Restrepo is being called up this week. He's going to be a game day elevation this week. You put that out there in the world, you know what's going to happen? ESPN's going to talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be a major talking point. You're going to put eyes on the Titans. You're going to put
the only
eyes
talking
on the
point for the
game.
Titans.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be the only talking point if he goes up there.
You're giving them something to talk about. You're giving people a reason to tune in. You're giving people a reason to show up to these butt cheeks games that have been getting played. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, are we at home this week?
Yep, at home against Chargers.
Like, man, I mean,
yeah.
Just
saw what happened last week.
Put him in there.
37-10. So, and that's the Chargers winning last week, 37-10. So,
yeah, I mean,
look, similar.
But give
the fans something to be excited about.
Give them something, and that's the only thing left.
Yep.
That's the only exciting thing left.
And Paul Karski keeps coming out. He talks about why do you want him out there? Obviously, he's not that good because he's not getting called up. I get it. But again, like you said, just show us. Just show us.
Show us he's
what's so bad about us putting out Xavier Restrepo, us losing an extra game that would probably lead us to the number 1 overall draft pick this year? You're not actively tanking because you're trying to see what your pieces can do. You're trying to evaluate for next year at this point.
Yeah.
So might as well go out there on a game day and see what he can do.
Here's what I wonder. What if he's good? And I mean this, like, what if in practice he's like lights out?
He looks phenomenal. That's poor management then.
Hear me out.
Mm-hmm.
What if he's looking really good, but they're not quite ready to like make him like really implement him into the offense, and they don't want to do a game day elevation because game day elevation back to the practice squad. Now there's tape on him. Someone can
poach.
Someone can come and get him and sign him to their 53-man roster. I wonder if that has something to do with it.
With how inconsistent Van Jefferson has been, are you I would assume they're worried they're going to lose one of their wide receivers if they decide to put Xavier Restrepo up there instead. I mean, who are they worried about missing out on if they decide, you know what, Xavier Restrepo deserves a spot on the 53-man roster? Who are they dropping? I mean, I get it. No, I completely understand where you're coming from because that is valuable. Tape is valuable. And if they see tape on Xavier, then they might say, oh, well, he can get open. But, again, that's just piss poor player management, roster management, if that's the case. To say that, oh, we don't want to bring somebody up because he might be too good. I mean,
I just wonder if
that'd be rough.
When they look at the 53-man roster, they're like, look, we're not quite ready to put him on the 53-man roster. He'd be a great game day elevation.
Sorry, Smokey's playing with toys, bringing it up to me, wanting me to throw it. That's why you might hear some growling in the background. I'm fine. I'm okay. My ligaments are all intact. It's just Smokey with his chew toy wanting me to throw it.
I just got so a second ago after that second Mark Andrews touchdown, I went to go look to see who had Mark Andrews, and someone just came into our group chat and said, "I'm an idiot. I dropped him right before the game for George Kittle."
Why would you drop him for George Kittle?
I wonder if he dropped him or if he just because Mark Andrews hasn't done anything the last several weeks. I mean,
I
I'm
guess, but
wondering,
like
did he
George
drop him or
Kittle.
did he bench him? Dude, he fully dropped him from. Who picked him up that fast? That's what I want to know. Who picked him up that fast?
Somebody smart.
Well, no, wait. We have like a delay period. No one could have picked him up. Who's got this guy?
Hmm.
Oh my!
What?
The guy who got him. I mean, the guy who got him one didn't start him, so fine. Who cares? But it's like the guy who regularly scores 200 plus points a week. It's like,
Wow.
dude, why are we letting people?
Wow.
They're handing the championship to that guy.
Yep. So it's great. This game so far, Malik Washington has 0 receiving yards so far in this game for the Dolphins, which is great. 1 rush though, 7 yards, and they are now trailing the Ravens after a field goal. It is 14-6 currently. So sounds like to me Malik Washington has to do some work, at least in the second half, if not in the remaining of the first half. But yeah, I think that Titans just need something to cheer for on Sundays. Yeah. I think Xavier would be a great option just to bring him up, just see what happens. Shut up the fans. Shut them up.
Yeah.
Let them go out there and see what happens.
I'm happy to be proven wrong.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm happy to be proven wrong, but just show me that he's. But like, what? I mean, best case scenario. Best case scenario is that he comes up, and him and Cam Ward show that they have that connection. I mean, because I think I've heard things about like him and Cam throw after, like at the end of practices. Like practice ends and they stick around and they throw the ball. They throw the ball around. And
well,
stuff.
all the off season they were down in Miami, throwing together. All off season they were. So it's not like they're it's going to be rusty. I mean, they're used to it.
I mean, look. I think a prime example of this right now is Tez Johnson. Right, Tez got taken by. Was he didn't even get drafted, right? He was an undrafted free agent for Tampa.
I believe so.
Like, but
sure.
he was one of those guys who, like, the fact that he didn't end up with the Chargers seems kind of crazy to me. No, not the Chargers, with Denver. I think he didn't end up with Denver seemed kind of crazy to me. But he was some guy that was really good in college. Didn't get drafted the way people kind of expected him maybe to get drafted. And then all of a sudden, he's been like lights out for Tampa. So like we're in a different era right now, I feel like, with the way people look coming through the draft and with the NIL and all this stuff. Like, the draft isn't going to be quite as predictable. I mean, like, look at Kool-Aid McKinstry, right? He was unbelievable in college.
Yep.
Goes undrafted to the Saints, and he's getting like he had a game recently where he got 2 interceptions. Like, I mean, he's been unbelievable. He's one of the best things going for the Saints right now.
Yep.
So it's just like.
Yeah.
Just put him out there, man. Put him out. Give him a chance. Put him out there.
What else could go wrong? Week 7 recap. Or I'm sorry, Week 8 recap. I just didn't update this number. Jets beat the Bengals in a very, very close game. Bengals were leading. Jets come back to win their first game of the season. First game. So they're 1-7 on the season. I'm sure Aaron Glenn and the boys are excited, especially after hearing the passing of Nick Mangold this past week. That morning, they hear of the passing of Nick Mangold, and they go out and win for him. So kudos to the Jets. Kudos to Aaron Glenn for getting that win. Very emotional in the locker room. Very emotional. I don't know if you saw the Rex Ryan video that popped up on ESPN, because they had talked about it right when it happened. Just talking about the connection he had. Talking about how Nick Mangold was injured his last game that he was coaching. Rex Ryan knew he was going to get fired. Everyone knew he was going to get fired, and Nick Mangold said, you know what? I'm going to play in this game for you. It's your last game. I'm going to be out there and play for you. Seemed like he had a really close connection with that player. So prayers out to Nick Mangold and his family. But yeah, 1 point. The Bengals. It's just... And then also Joe Flacco went down with an injury in this game at the very end, but then came back, tried to stir up some magic, and I believe there's an interception in the game, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in that game. So close game for the Jets. Big win for them. Bengals just need to shore it up. Defense needs to help them out. Help them out there.
Dude, that connection between Joe Flacco and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the thing is like, hey, when you throw your two of the highest paid wide receivers in the league on the same team, like when you throw them the ball and they catch it,
good things happen.
People surprised.
Yeah,
like,
good things happen.
Yeah. So, the defense still sucks, and that's why they let the Jets score 39 points on them.
That's insane. That's wild. It's wild. Justin Fields coming out during the press conference, too, at the very end of the game, saying that he cried in his closet the week before the game because of how tough he's had it recently, and felt like, he felt like there's just been a lot going on, and I'm glad they were able to get the win.
His owner,
yeah,
Woody Johnson, came out and just shit-talked him to the press. Like, dude, look, Justin Fields had to go out there and ball out.
Yep.
That's the thing with Justin Fields, man. Man, when he looks good, he looks unbelievably good. But why can he not produce that week after week?
Consistency. Someone needs to get in his ear. It sounds like the owner did. Dolphins beat the Falcons, which that was surprising. Kirk Cousins came out starting in place of Michael Penix Jr. and was unable to do anything. The offense just looked like they were out of sync. Defense was not able to hold off the Dolphins, and Bijan Robinson didn't even really have that good of a game in this one as well. Dolphins won 34-10 in this one, so big game for Tua and the boys in Miami, but the Falcons just they were flat in this game in Atlanta. Rough game for them. Eagles came back and beat the Giants because of that injury to Cam Skattebo. Also, the Eagles tried to tush push in this game. There was a fumble that occurred in this game. Then they said there was no fumble that occurred. Yeah, if it was a close game, that would have been a play that would have been it's already scrutinized a lot after that game happened. But if it was a close game, that would have been much more noise would have been around that play because it was a fumble.
Who's to say though that it would that's one of the things, right? Momentum is always like what these things come back to. Who's to say that that wouldn't have changed how the rest of that game looked? You not only stopped the tush push, but you got a fumble off of it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That was not a good look for that officiating crew.
Wesley,
not a good look at all.
Yeah, not good at all. And there's been some plays this season with some officiating crews in the league that have looked that fishy. But that one was definitely a fumble. Wesley is joining the chat saying, howdy, fellas. Wesley, every time I go on TikTok, usually Friday or Saturday, I am always seeing your boy, the Colts fan of the year, singing, "This is our Colts, this is our team, we bleed blue," every single weekend, just because you guys are good this year. So thank you for ingraining that song into my brain. Congratulations to the season you guys have had so far. We've talked about it a little bit on the show, and I know you've been in the chat for some of the conversations about Daniel Jones and how he's playing, but damn, he's looking good. He's looking good this year.
He is.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's necessary. I guess you could say it's catchy. I would say it's more so annoying than catchy, but I get where you're coming from. It is an earworm. It's just one of those things. I just want to get it out. I just want to flick it out, and it just won't. It won't come out. There's also my wife is on the train too. Even when the Colts came to Nashville a few weeks ago, Ann Bailey saw that video, and she saw it last year too. Obviously, she saw the videos of him last year, but she just kept singing it. We were in the stands next to me as the Colts were beating the Titans' ass at home. Just, this is our Colts, this is our team, the entire time. And I said, babe, we're in the middle of the club level at a Titans game around Titans fans. Just shh. No, we're not doing that here. Don't cheer for the Colts, but Wesley, I have to give it to you. The Colts are looking good this year.
So let me ask you this, Dylan.
Yep.
There's been a lot of talk in the recent weeks about, really in this past week, but a little bit of the week before, about Jonathan Taylor as a potential for the being the first MVP, first non-quarterback MVP since Adrian Peterson. I've thought about it. And I still think that if Derrick Henry didn't get it the year he rushed for 2,000 yards.
If Saquon Barkley didn't get it last year.
Saquon didn't get it last year. I mean, no. But here's the thing. Neither of them broke records. Do you think, because I think he's on track to do it. If he was to rush for 2,000 yards and he broke the touchdown record, because I think he has something like 14 rushing touchdowns already this season. Would he deserve it? And I'm going to frame it with this. I view MVP as like your team did well because of you. And like you were the main heart and soul of why your team did well. And I'm going to argue against my own point here because of Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones has looked unreal. I don't think he deserves it because of how good Daniel Jones has looked. I think he's running that well because of how good Daniel Jones is playing.
Wesley alludes to the game that the Colts beat the Titans' ass in Nashville and then also in Indianapolis, but also says if he continues and hits 25 touchdowns and over 2,000 yards, it should be a no-doubt MVP for him.
25 wouldn't be enough for me. He would have to get 29 to break the record.
I think breaking that record, it's going to deepen the conversation. I think it's going to make it to where it's going to be much harder. It's going to be much harder to pick someone other than Jonathan Taylor if he's able to hit the record for touchdowns as well. What is he on all-purpose yards this year? So what is he on pace for? Do we know?
He's in the.
Is he on pace to beat Chris Johnson's record? I'm assuming. 2,500.
25. No, I don't think he is. I don't think he's gonna break the yards. What am I looking for?
Just rushing, or does that include receiving touchdowns? Is that rushing touchdowns? The 29, 25, hitting 29?
Just rushing. Yeah. So right now, let's see. Jonathan Taylor has 850 rushing yards and 12 rushing touchdowns through 7 games? Yeah, through 7 games.
7 games. Okay.
So if he can continue to perform like that, here's the other thing. His carries aren't even that high. I mean, against the Titans, he did 12 carries for 153 yards.
Well, the Titans' defense is dog water right now. So bad. So bad.
Oh, here we go. His projected right now is 1,800 yards, 26 rushing touchdowns.
See, I don't think that gets it.
No, that doesn't get it. That's not 2,000 yards. That doesn't break the touchdown record. You have to rush for 2,000 yards and break a record.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, unfortunately, with a running back, you have to go above and beyond.
you have to show that you were the reason. You have to
Yes.
be the undeniable reason
Yes.
why that happened.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. If Derrick Henry didn't get it, if Saquon didn't get it, it's an uphill battle for Jonathan Taylor. Should he be in the conversation? Absolutely. I think he's having a great year. I think the Colts are having a great year. I think Daniel Jones has a lot to do with the year that they've had so far, though. So we'll see how it goes. I still think that it's gonna take a lot for Jonathan Taylor to be the MVP at the end of the season. Unfortunately. Last game I want to talk about the Broncos and Cowboys. Cowboys, obviously, we've talked about how their offense is good. Dak Prescott, I think, is still having a year for comeback player of the year. I think that he has that moniker currently, and that I think that he can definitely win that at the end of the season. They lost this game to the Broncos 44-24. Broncos are turning it on. Broncos only have 2 losses on the season, so they're looking really, really good with Sean Payton and Bo Nix. That team is going to be very, very hard to beat. Patrick Surtain getting injured, not good. I'm not sure what I don't know what the duration, the timetable is for him. I think it's a few weeks at least. It's a pectoral injury, I think. So that's going to be rough for them defense-wise because he is like their stud on defense. But they're still, I mean, hey, if they keep winning games, then I don't think they'll have to worry about it.
Because who's their backup for Patrick Surtain?
Backup right now would be, let me look at Broncos depth chart.
So if it's Luke Moss, they might be screwed in the passing game.
Corners.
Luke Moss, he's been getting mossed on.
Riley Moss.
Yeah.
Yep. Riley Moss. Nickelback is Jaquan McMillan. I guess their other corner is Chris Abrams-Drain or Jahdae Barron. Are there other cornerbacks that they have to rely on until Pat Surtain comes back? So, yeah, it could be a little rough in the secondary for them. But, I mean, if the offense is putting up 44 points in a game, I don't think it really matters. But the Cowboys defense is dog water as well. That's the reason why Jerry came out saying that they're looking at any potential opportunity on defense in the trade market through the next week. Jerry's open for business. He's pretty much said. So, it would be nice to have a guy that comes off the edge, is a great linebacker in coverage as well. All-star guy like that. All pro. Would have been a nice player to have on that team. But you trade him to the Packers. So, unfortunate. So, yeah, those are the games that I wanted to highlight tonight. Games to watch this week. I think the big one, I think we would probably both say the big one's going to be the Bills and Chiefs, right? I mean,
Of course.
Although, I'm sure Chris Collinsworth is crying in his trailer this past weekend just because he doesn't get to call this game. It's on Sunday afternoon instead of Sunday night, which I don't know why, but they decided to schedule it that way. So the Bills, Chiefs, who do you see winning that game? Do you still see Josh Allen dominating the regular season record against the Chiefs, or do you see Patrick Mahomes and the boys starting to trend upward as they try to get into the playoffs?
Yeah, I don't know. It's tough to say just because, why is that not Sunday night or Monday Night Football?
It should be. That should be a flex.
It absolutely, I mean, look, Monday night's Cowboys and Sunday night is Seahawks Commanders.
Seahawks Commanders could be an okay game, but I think it'd be more of a Monday night game than a Sunday night game.
Yeah. I do think that this should have been flexed. But when you look at what both of these teams looked like 2-3 weeks ago when the flex would have needed to happen, the Commanders would have been coming off of a great game. The Cowboys been coming off of a great game. The Seahawks would have been looking good. Meanwhile, the Bills had 2 weeks in a row where they looked like they were shitting their pants, and the Chiefs have not looked really like the Chiefs this year, even though they're still 5-3 somehow. So I don't know.
Man, I would take that in a heartbeat if I were a Titans fan. Not having the best year, but you're still 5-3. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
God.
that's the thing. Like, think about it. The Chiefs were doing their thing last year, and it wasn't until like week 12 or 13 they were like, "Yep, all right, Chiefs are still the Chiefs."
Aren't they still the Super Bowl favorite right now, the Chiefs? I think they are betting odds wise.
Of course they are.
I think they're the favorite to win the Super Bowl because of their resurgence recently. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is looking great. He's looking better than he did last year. And they also have Worthy. They also have Rashee Rice back after his suspension. Travis Kelce. Only bad thing is like Pacheco is out currently.
Mm-hmm. So, top 2 Super Bowl, like projected for the Super Bowl. Top 2 AFC are Kansas City Chiefs plus 500 and Bills plus 800. And then top 2 NFC are Detroit Lions at plus 650 and Packers plus 700.
I can see both. Yeah, I can see that. I think I had Ravens and Lions in the Super Bowl. That was my prediction at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
But Ravens aren't looking too hot. Unless they just come out of nowhere. Unless they get that wild card spot and then they go on a heater.
Run.
Yeah.
Yeah, Baltimore Ravens, I mean, they're not crazy down there. They're plus 1,900 right now. They're above the Chargers, which is a team with a winning record.
That's wild to me. What are their odds of winning the division? 11. The Ravens.
Let's see. Divisions minus 130.
So they're still favored to win the division?
Yeah.
That's
Pittsburgh's
crazy.
plus 185.
That's crazy. I mean, that's wild to me. Oh, well. But yeah, I think Chiefs-Bills is going to be a great game to watch. Great game. If you have the Titans game on this weekend in your region, I'm sorry.
Titans are plus 30,000 to win the division.
The funny thing is I put a $10 bet on them at the beginning of the season to win the division.
They have the worst odds. Their odds to win their division is lower than the Jets.
I had them over, I think it was over 5.5 wins on the season, I think it was.
Sorry, they're equal with the Jets.
Jesus. Had it over 5.5, and winning the division was just like a flyer. Last time I checked it, like the cash out's like 63 cents or something.
Yeah.
Sad. Anyway, that's it for this week. Thanks, Alex, for joining us. Good seeing you again, chatting some football.
Of course.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Wesley and Charlie and Dad, thanks so much for hopping in the comments tonight. If you haven't done so yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel, JDF Sports. Also, subscribe to our podcast, the audio version, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music. Everywhere you get your podcasts, we are there. This is Out of Bounds, Dillon James, right here on JDF Sports. And we will see you all next week. Enjoy your Halloween. Be safe out there on All Hallows Eve and also tomorrow night as well. Be safe out there in the dark. And it's supposed to be cold too, which this is the kind of weather I was used to growing up in Cookeville. Going out and trick-or-treating, chilly like this. It's going to be like mid-40s at night. It's going to be so nice. No rain, which we've seen a lot in the Middle Tennessee area over the past couple of Halloweens. But enjoy your Halloween. We'll see you guys next week right here on JDF Sports.